Hi, poets. It's Liz Whiteacre, and today we're going to talk about how we can engage our text and poems with other modes of communication and engage with people online. So from our reading from The Poet's Companion by Kim Atanasio and Dorian Knox, I wanted to pull a quote from the Writing in a Digital Age chapter. New technologies have other implications as well. There is an increased access to a community of other writers and literary folk. It's difficult when you're starting out to make such connections, but the internet offers immediate contact with like-minded souls around the world. So this was written in 1997, and we can all attest to the fact that so many advances in technologies have created easier access for poets to connect with other poets as well as with readers. And I thought it would be fun for this writing experience to think about a transformation prompt and how you can take the poems you're writing and the platforms you already engage with and explore ways to share your work with your audience and other poets as a means to disseminate your creative work and create connections outside of more traditional channels such as publication. So a multimodal poem is a poem that incorporates more than just text. For example, here, in addition to the text on the slides, there is the background that we've been using throughout all of the guided writing prompts, as well as an image here that's pulling the famous hashtag that we now use in a lot of different social media platforms. So I'm getting you to think about social media by incorporating the text bubble and hashtag. And so that's something you want to start thinking about with your poems. Bam, here are a bunch of different screenshots from online of different ways you can think about creating multimodal poems. And in the description of this video, I have linked to all of these different screenshots so that you can check them out. There are examples of animated poems, both for some days and how to be alone. Those are poems where illustrators have created little videos. You can also, use film. You can use slideshows of pictures that you've taken, video of you or things that you're seeing. So you don't have to necessarily be artsy yourself. You can certainly team up with artists, but animating and using a platform like YouTube to share the video, or perhaps TikTok, could be a way that you could engage audiences with your work in multimodal ways. At the bottom left, there is a broadside that is being sold on Etsy, and you can check out that person's account and just do a general search as well. But we have a poster where the poem is appearing on the page as well as an illustration. Down next to that is a Pinterest page that is showing a bunch of different types of illustrated poetry. So people are combining art with the poems on the page. Some of these are different types of art, but you'll notice some of them are even just people handwriting rather than typing their work and incorporating some doodles in order to make them more engaging. And then the Pomeo, or How Dare They, is an animated poem that only uses the words. There are no graphics, but it's really cool. And I hope that you visit the page and check it out. There are several poems there where it's creating a thematic shape and the words are zooming in, much like you might be already experimenting with PowerPoint slideshows with those transitions. But that is a really interesting experience. And then on the far right of the screen, there are two different Instagram pages the very famous Ruby Carr, who started on Instagram combining poems and illustrations. And then also picture this poem, have poems from a bunch of different people illustrated there. And you can see that there's different types of art that's being combined with the poems, and some of them are also video based. So lots of different examples out there. People are tweeting poems on X. People are doing all sorts of things. And so this transformation prompt, taking a poem that you've already written and transforming it to make it multimodal, is something I hope that you have fun with. We're going to do a little bit of planning to help you think through what could be a good use of your time for this particular project. So if you could take a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle of it. On the left-hand side, I'd like you to create a list of the ways that you already engage. So this experience this week isn't designed for you to create a new social media account, right? If you're not on Instagram, I'm not asking you to get onto Instagram. Instead, I want you to think about the communities you've already created and what would be appropriate to design for that audience. So on the left, you'll list down the different accounts or the different communities. Maybe you're a part of Wattpad, or maybe you are on Threads or TikTok or Snapchat or Instagram or Facebook or all of those different things. So write them down. Email counts if that is your only platform. That's just fine. And then also on the right-hand side, across from it, write down the type of multimodal that you think it might be best for. For example, YouTube really lends itself to video. TikTok lends itself to video. Instagram lends itself more to artwork, photos, art. And so kind of be listening as you list the platform, what works. I'm going to set a timer for 2 minutes. Let's do this. Create your list. Halfway through. And another way I actually just thought of to engage multimodally could also be through the spoken word. And so if you are regularly going to open mics, etc., that could also be something that you might write down on your page if you are not connected with people through a lot of social media platforms. Finish up your thought. All right. So I wanted to give you an example of how I did this prompt myself. I do test these things out on myself before I asked you to engage, and kind of think through before you decide what you want to do. So my example is I am on Instagram, and you are welcome to check out my page, Liz Whiteacre on Instagram. It's public, and on that page, I do a lot of noting visually. I take a picture once a day of an interesting detail in my life, and I share it. I kind of fling it out there, and it's been a wonderful exercise for me personally in terms of mindfulness and thinking about detail and imagery. So it's something that I really enjoy doing. It makes sense for me to think about engaging Instagram because I am able to um, connect into something that I already am kind of exploring poetry with. I don't put a lot of my poetry with visuals, so that would be new and might be engaging with my audience. The other social media I regularly participate in is Facebook, and I am connected with a lot of writers there, and friends and family who enjoy reading my work. But that is a private page, a smaller platform. So I think I might choose to go with Instagram. And then I went into Canva, which is a free graphic design software. Hopefully, you've already been introduced to it in one of the courses I've taught. If not, I recommend it, and you can reach out to me if you need any help getting started. You should certainly use whatever platform you are comfortable with. For example, you might have apps on your phone that you really enjoy creating images and text, combining those, or making videos. There's even like stop animation apps that are really cool to use. But make sure that you use a platform that you already know. This is not a let's spend, 8 hours trying to learn something new type of prompt. But I found an image that I felt went with a quote I pulled out from a poem. This is a draft of a poem that I wrote in a class exercise. So it's not one that's been published or anything like that. And I also made sure that I included the working title and that I had my name. So if you see from Since You Asked, I'll Tell You Why I'm So Damn Happy by Liz Whiteacre, in addition to the text. And that's important because often people will consume the graphic, but they might not look at the caption. So make sure that you are giving yourself credit. This is a graphic that is just public domain. It's free on the platform, so I don't also have photo buy because it's public use. There was no credit to give. You can certainly use one of your own pictures. I just was looking through my pictures and only had like holiday stuff, which didn't really feel like the vibe. I wanted something more springy and cheerful, so that's why I went with this one. But make sure if you're incorporating any sort of graphic or video that you've not taken, that you are mindful of copyright and make sure that you give credit where credit is due. If you have questions, let me know, check in, and I'm happy to talk with you about what you hope to create. So there's an example of how I responded to the prompt. You'll have to follow up and check out my Instagram page and see it posted. So now is time for you to transform your poem, execute your vision. If you have questions, let me know. I'm not going to time this out because it's going to take everybody different amounts of time, and it might take you time to go collect things and think things through. So once you have created your multimodal draft, please share it with us following the instructions, and I cannot wait to see what you create.